Hello, hello, hello. How's it going, everybody? Let me just make sure this is all working. And then once it's all working, we'll get going. But thank you. This is our last live stream for July. Let me see if this is working. Oh, I see what's happening. I see what's happening. Let me do this real quick. All right, it's working. We're good to go. All right. So if you haven't joined the live streams, here's how they typically go. Let me mute this real quick so I can actually see things. Give me one sec. There we go. I need to be able to see the chat. But thank you guys for joining. Here's how these live streams usually go. I am going to do this for a whole hour. So this is from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. my time. Besides just Q&A, if you have other things you would like to ask or you'd like me to do, let me know. If it's reasonable, I might do it. That's all I have to say. It's pretty simple, though. You can just ask questions in the chat. I already see people coming in. Thank you, guys. I got Nitin from India. DLS Fury, how's it going? Pinky Thanu with a question. And I'll answer questions in just a second. I'm just saying hi to everybody. We got Taki. He's one of my moderators. Thank you for joining, Taki. His name's not actually Taki, but that's his name in chat. So if you see him, watch out. All right? We don't do spam in this chat. Gets a little bit too crazy. With that being said, we are going live. So here's how it's going to go. I'm just going to start reading through the chat, and we'll get answering questions at the very end. I'm going to do a giveaway, and that's that. The giveaway is my courses for free. I just give them away because I appreciate you guys being here, and I'm just trying to give back and support you guys. All right. The first question says, "Hi Alex, how to get into data analyst with 9 years experience in mainframe?" I don't know what mainframe is. I don't know I've never worked with someone in that position or that industry. So I don't know. If you give me some more information, I might be able to answer it. Elvis FA, it's good to be here finally. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for joining. If you have a question, just go ahead and ask it. K Deepak, is data analyst roles dead now in the coming 4 months? I'm guessing that's what that says. As of right now, I genuinely haven't seen a huge slowdown with data analyst roles in the past, I don't know, 6 months, a year. Stayed pretty steady. We're seeing a slowdown just because companies are slowing down hiring. And that's for all positions. It's not just data analyst positions. In my opinion, it's not. Excuse me. There's like this thing on my glasses. But it's not necessarily even due to AI. It's more. It's still there. I'm just gonna ignore it. But it's still maybe partially AI. But honestly, AI does not have a huge part to play as much as the economics of keeping people hired. I think if we see a lower interest rates, especially in the U.S., if we see lower interest rates, we're gonna see a lot more companies hiring again. And that's the honest part of it. And there are kind of ebbs and flows in hiring, and we're just in one of the slumps right now, in my opinion. I don't think this is gonna be a permanent thing. We'll see how things go. How can I make projects to be put into my CV? This is TH Koa. All right, so projects are great. You want to add them to your resume for a few different reasons. One, so that you can have it on your resume, people can see it. The automatic systems kind of look for those things sometimes. And so it's nice to have. But then when you get into an interview, you can also point back to those projects and say, hey, I built this project. They're going to ask you, how do you know SQL, Excel, Tableau, PowerBI, whatever tool they're using in the job. And you can point to those projects and say, here's something I've built, and here's how I built it, and here's why it was really useful, and I could do a really good job at your company. But building projects can be really intimidating. I recommend doing guided projects first, which is what a lot of my channel is based on. I have tons of guided projects on Python, Excel, SQL, to R, Tableau, Power BI, AWS, Azure. I have tutorials on all these things to build projects. I recommend doing the guided first. Get a feel for it. And then if you think that you kind of got it, then use your own data. Try building your own pipeline. Try doing your own analysis, creating your own visualizations. That's how you grow, and that's how you build your own projects. All right, skip down again. Sorry, guys. Vince Andre got completely blocked by Taki. Listen, I trust the guy more than I trust myself. So if he's blocking you, it means you're doing too much. Let's see this question. Bimbola said, "Hello, good sirs. My first time here on this live. Thanks for joining. I really appreciate it. I'm just reading through questions. If you got a question, let me know." Ghost Plays said, "Alex, sir, I watched your SQL videos and I got placed in MNC on-campus placement. Thank you a lot. Awesome. I don't know what that really means, but it sounds like a good thing. So I'm really happy for you. That's awesome." Joyce, it's good to be here. It's good to be here too. Michael from Nigeria, how's it going? Elvis asked, "Is it okay to start with Excel?" I think Excel is like a great place to start. Either Excel or SQL are kind of the two places that I would start. The reason being is because it's a simple enough tool or a simple enough language to get started with the basics pretty easily for anybody. And it's really accessible and open source. And, even if you can't get Microsoft's Excel, there's online tools that are basically the same thing as Excel that are free. Um, Once you start breaking into other things like AWS and Azure, and it can be harder to get resources for free. And so Excel is perfect, but it gives you the building blocks of how data sits, how it is stored, how to clean data. You can learn a lot of those things in Excel. So it is a great place to start. Harshit Rawat. Hey, Alex, I have just did your data analyst videos. Thank you so much for doing that. I've learned so much. Love from India. Awesome. Love from the US. Istanbul, Moro Husseini. That's how you pronounce it. Hi, Alex, reading from Istanbul. I love seeing where people are from, by the way. I just always think it's really interesting. All over the world. It's awesome. I love from Ethiopia, Indisha. Let's see. Okay, this is a question. This is from, I'm going to try to pronounce this. I'm going to butcher it, I can just tell, but I'm going to try. Uh, Arjur Uchukwu Anyalabechi. Hey, I think I did all right on that one. You're a medical laboratory scientist. How do I get a job as a healthcare analyst? That's been like my bread and butter for people in the past several years, is people switching from health care roles into analyst roles in healthcare companies. I've helped a lot of people do that. Here's typically how it works is there are companies that are going to value that laboratory scientist experience a lot. Like that is like gold to them, but it's hard to find someone good who has the technical skills plus the previous experience of your role. Your job, and this is the hard part, but your job is to do a lot of research and identify companies or even departments within a company that are going to value that. And that is the toughest part. Then you have to reach out to them, you have to get in contact with them. I actually think that's easier than sometimes doing the research. But honestly, with the advent of, AI search and Gemini and ChatGPT, you may be able to do some of that research easier. But target companies that value it, because you can't just get, with your experience, you can't just go to, any company that is related to healthcare and get a job. It's going to need to be something that will really like that. Ghost plays Gen AI versus data analysis. Which is best? Um, I'm guessing you just mean like the general AI of using Gemini and ChatGPT. There's even a data analyst ChatGPT option. I've used them. I've used them quite extensively. They are good for some basic analysis. Once you start getting to, I would consider real data or where there's nuances to the data, it has a lot of trouble. It's not very good at data cleaning either. That's something I wish it was good at, because I spend a lot of time with that and I try to identify the ways to do it. It's not amazing. So if you look at like what a data analyst actually does, a data analyst works with the clients. They understand what they're trying to do, and then they get their data in. So they have some type of data ingestion process, either with a data engineer or the data analyst is going to somehow work with their team to do that. Then they have to clean the data. They have to automate that process so you can get those new files in, or the new database backup file, or a stream of data, whatever it is. Then you create that process. Then you have reports and dashboards that you build. AI doesn't really do a lot of that consistently well, or even at all. They don't really work with the clients directly. They don't understand the nuances of the data. What's really so, and I'm just gonna a tiny little offshoot of this. But data can be cleaned in 100 different ways, and AI is great at maybe identifying ways that it can be cleaned, but it doesn't know what the right way to do it is. That's where you come in. So a data analyst can say, okay, we could clean the data 1, 2, 3, or 4 different ways, but we have to do it this first way. And the reason is because downstream, they're going to be reporting these numbers in a specific way to submit that for claims data. Or they're going to be submitting that to their clients, or they're going to put in a dashboard. It has to sit this very specific way. Otherwise, it'll look wrong and clients will get mad. They'll lose money. And so AI doesn't know that. And so you have to kind of be that interpreter. You have to understand the nuances and the complexities of the data. So there's a little bit of both, but honestly, for most data analysts, you're not going to use AI super extensively as of right now. Um, but you're going to use it, right? If your company has it, you should use it in some ways. Brainstorming, simple code generation, things like that. Which platforms are less crowded for freelancing and data analysis? This is from Dev Kapadia. I don't know. I don't know what best platforms are best for freelancing. I've heard people like Upwork and people like Fiverr. I don't know any of the other ones. I really don't. I don't know which ones are best. Sorry. Let me get a drink of water. I got my cup back. All right. Lightsaber. Cool name. Please enlighten us about what the AI is going to do in data science machine learning job prospects. All right, it can go in a few different ways, and I'll tell you what I think is the most likely to happen. One is that this is like worst case scenario for like all industries, all jobs, not just data analysts. This is like anybody who works on a computer. AI is goes way beyond what we can do now. It can take over and do all the work pretty seamlessly, and that happens within the next 5 years. That'd be bad because every job that does a computer could be AI. It doesn't seem like it's going that way, in my opinion. From what I've seen, what I've heard, people I've talked to who are even more knowledgeable, a lot more knowledgeable than I am, what it seems like is going to happen is we're going through this huge wave of AI is everything, and if you don't use AI, you are like the worst company in the world. That's like the vibe out there. What's happening is that so many companies are adopting AI that not everyone's going to use it right. Let's say everyone used it perfect. Uh, they would need a lot less people, right? But it's nobody uses AI perfect. So let's say AI is implemented at almost every company, but most people don't know how to use AI well, or they don't really understand the basics of using data, and they don't really understand how to use it. They're going to need people. And if that's every single company out there not using AI perfectly, or AI is making mistakes in some ways, or the data quality isn't perfect, which no company is, there's going to be a demand. So I think what's going to happen is over the next, couple of years is we're going to see a lot of companies adopt AI. That's great. I love that. But they're not going to use it perfect. And then what's going to happen is they're going to run into all these issues and they're going to be like, we just need to hire somebody to do this because I, as the manager, or I, as a single person, cannot do all of this work. It's impossible. So I need to hire people on. I actually think in the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to see a vastly larger need for data people. That is my prediction. That's been my prediction for the past, I don't know, 2 years. Um, and it hasn't changed. I haven't seen anything that has changed that. I think even the current job market has more to do with economic factors than it is AI. From everything I've seen. And I try to stay pretty up to date. All right. DLS Fury. Got multiple rejection emails in the past 2 weeks. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm trying to focus on finance. Can't I just use SQL and Python only? I'm on a SQL course already, though. So finance is I never worked in finance, so I'm going to put this disclaimer out there. But I know many people who've worked at Bank of America as data scientists, data analysts, who work at Chase. I know a lot of people in that banking side of finance. Um, from what I've heard, you definitely need SQL and Excel, but you also need cloud platform knowledge because almost every single department in a bank is using some type of cloud system. And it's really good to know tools like Power BI. Most are Microsoft shop of some sort, um, or at least departments within them. So Power BI would be a nice thing to have on. Honestly, out of those two, I would say SQL is the only have to have. Python's in my opinion, isn't a need to have for most finance positions. You need to have a good statistics background for a lot of finance jobs. So heavy math background is really nice. Again, I don't know what your resume looks like, but you know, make sure you have SQL and SQL projects. Make sure you have some type of statistics. Maybe take a statistics course, or you take some type of you have a statistics degree, or you just put some evidence of knowing statistics on there would be nice. But then I wouldn't just be applying, I'd also be, targeting finance companies that you really like and directly reaching out to them and reach out to the recruiter. I have a course on, I also talk about this in my data analyst bootcamp on YouTube, but I have a full course called Landing a Data Job on Analyst Builder. I will put a code, I'm just going to make that free for everybody in here real quick. Give me a sec. I'm just going to give you guys a code. It's only going to be active for the next like you know what? I'll leave it active till the end of the day. Just give me 1 sec. I'm gonna make that course free. I want you to go take it. Um, Give me a sec. Here it is. Go take that course because in there I show you how to reach out to recruiters. And that's how I've landed almost all my jobs in the past. And that's how people who reach out to me, by the way. Give me a second. I'm gonna go find it. I just gotta go find the place. Here it is. I'm going to make this code real quick. And I'm going to put the expiration at the end of today. So it's going to be tonight at midnight. It's going to go. The code is going to be job, get job. That's all caps, get job. Um, there we go. All right. Just real quick, I'm going to put this in the chat. Use this code at checkout for the landing a data job on analystbuilder.com to get it free. Okay. That's just for you. Anybody in the chat who wants that, you guys can have that for free. It just tells you it helps you create a resume, create a portfolio website. That's what I recommend doing. I just recommend following that and then reaching out to recruiters in the right way. And it's really good. All right, I'm going to keep going. Is Power BI enough for visualizations or should I learn Tableau as well? Honestly, it is enough. Power BI is an amazing tool. I used it for many years. I was a data analyst manager when I implemented Power BI for an entire department. Power BI is an amazing tool and it can be great for so many things, but not every company uses Power BI. So if you only know Power BI, you're limiting yourself, at least for data visualization, to only that tool. If you add Looker, or if you add Tableau, or if you add any of these other visualization softwares, then you get picked up in more systems for having that skill. When you apply, you might check off more boxes, right? So learn them both. If you already know Power BI, you can learn Tableau very quickly, very quickly. And I have free tutorials on how to do that, so I would do that. Okay, so Pinky, so this is the mainframe guy. He said, I've worked in mainframe program analyst for 9 years. So I moved to data analyst, what I consider a fresher experience in the data frame. Mainframe program, I'm going to Google this. Mainframe program analyst. What is it? Just give me a second. Responsible for maintaining, troubleshooting, or optimizing mainframe systems that support critical business operations. I honestly don't know much about that. I wish I knew more about that. It seems like a really interesting job. It seems like maybe you're like working on like the back end systems. So you're looking at log data, you're looking at errors and caching and access to things. Am I close? Tell me if I'm close. That sounds like what you're talking about. I've just never heard of that title. Um, so cybersecurity said, hope you had a good week. That pantry that your dad built was pretty fire. I must say so myself. Thank you. I really appreciate it. My wife helped a ton. She did all the painting, all the decoration. She picked out the kind of the design of it. Me and my dad just built it. That's the easy part. But yeah, my wife was a big part of that too. All right, let's see. I'm looking for questions now. Okay, here's a good one. Kalyan Kotla. I'm working as a data analyst using SQL, Excel, Power BI, and started learning Python recently. Love it. That's great. But says planning to transition into data engineering. What's your suggestion about things where I should focus on? All right. So back in the day, I was a data analyst for 5-6 years at this point. I was working on a not a data ingestion, a data collection team under a data science umbrella. So we would create and I would analyze a lot of the data for our clients for healthcare, but I would help with the data collection process. That's creating automated processes for data pipelines, creating data cleaning processes, automating reports, things like that. That was a big part of my job. Um, and I just started picking things up, and the data engineers on my team were like, "Hey, if you wanted to get into data engineering, you probably could, because you know X, Y, Z." And so I actually thought about that for a while, but then I got a promotion to a manager of analytics, which was what I wanted to do anyways. But I thought about it because I like that stuff. Here's what I would focus on, and this is kind of the basics of any tool or any data engineering job: create data pipelines and get really good at it, and then try automating it in a different way. So you're going to start with something really simple, something like uh, a, just pulling in one file each night. That's it. Then you're going to escalate that. Maybe you'll do batch processing. So you're going to take multiple files and process them overnight. And then you're going to want to get really big files. And you're going to have to see how you can segment those files, or even you do a database backup and you get those files or that file. And then you want to hit off of some type of database online. And then you create a pipeline through AWS and Azure, which I do in my AWS and Azure course on Analyst Builder. I think I touch on it a little bit in the YouTube stuff. I can't remember. I think I do with AWS Glue, but creating data pipelines, super, super important. And then just go from there. Data engineering does get really complex, but you have to understand those basic building blocks, and that's what I would do. Start with tools like SSIS, SSRS for reports and stuff like that. That's like through like SQL. Then you can go and you can try to build it with Python, or you can try to build it with something like Scala, or you can go to Databricks, or you can go to AWS or Azure, Google Cloud Platform. There's lots of places. I love data engineering. I think data engineering is fantastic. I would just need to study it a lot more to be really good at it. Oh geez, it skipped down. Oh, I just got a donation. You didn't have to do that. Tyrone Williams, I don't need any donations, but I appreciate it. I'll read your question because you did. It said, what would you suggest for criminal court sector? I didn't even know there. I genuinely didn't even know there was a criminal court sector. Maybe you're talking. Maybe I can interpret that as saying something in the law realm. Um, I have some law friends who they have a lot of data from different things that they work on, and they do hire people to work on that. Usually, like consultants, that come in. Um, but that is a specialty I don't know enough about, if I'm being honest, to answer that. Just refund your thing. I wish if I had a better answer, uh, you know, I would give it to you. Sorry, I don't. I got to go back up. There was a question up here, and I wanted to answer it, and then it skipped down. It does that every so often. Give me one sec. It was a good question. That's why I wanted to read it. And then it just skipped down, and geez, there's been a lot of questions. I'm far behind. Oh boy, give me a second. This is way up here. Okay, I'm close now. Okay. Faux Fide. Hello. I'm trying to change my career as a data analyst and currently studying with your video data analyst bootcamp. Awesome. All right, here was the question that I saw, but I just wanted to read that. Huh. Cybersecurity usually is asking some good questions. Just don't spam here. But thoughts on logistics and supply chain analytics. I think it's a pretty slept on field. I'm 2 modules away from completing the Google Data Analytics course. Then I'll be focused on just learning the fundamentals of supply chain logistics. That's a huge industry. Large companies, most large companies that deal with any product or good, have supply chain and logistics divisions within their company. There are some consulting and companies that just do analytics for logistics and supply chains. I've seen those. But there's within a lot of, so think Amazon, think Target, Walmart. They produce, or not produce, they move so many goods. There's a lot of supply chains that go on. And so they hire a lot of people to analyze that data. I think it is, oh, give me a second. I got to change the battery pack. It, uh, it died on me, guys. Let's see if we can get back. All right, let's see. Let's see if we're back. It just died on me. Whoops. I should have checked the battery first. Oh boy. Oh boy. Now we're not doing good. Let me see. So this is let me see. Is it not working anymore? Oh, I'm back. I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. My battery died. Whoops. All right. Daniel Wright asks, "Hi, I'm new to analytics coming over from medical coding. What courses do you recommend I start with?" Um, from the medical field. I'm going to create, by the way, my own healthcare course. I love healthcare. I was in it for many years. I just love it. I think it's fantastic. I'm going to create my own. I want to say I saw one. Maybe it was on Coursera. That was good. I can't. It's been a long time since I've looked at it. But anyways, I don't have one off the top of my head. I did do a small healthcare introductory healthcare series on YouTube. It's already on there. So you can go check out my healthcare for data analyst series uh, on my channel. Um, yeah, sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that. People are pointing it out. I get it. Major Data's here. Hey, Albert. How's it going? Thanks for joining. I always appreciate it when people show up, even though they probably know most of the stuff already, or they themselves help other people. So if you don't know Albert Bellamy, he's on LinkedIn a lot, makes some good, really good content. So go check him out. But he's in there. Eastern North Carolina. One of my best friends lives out in Wilmington, North Carolina, and I got a lot of good friends in Charlotte, North Carolina. I got a lot of friends in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I'm out in Charleston, South Carolina. Joseph Menza, what take do you have on AI replacing the need for data analysts going forward? Is this something that will happen or it's just a fuss? It's not just a fuss. I mean, AI definitely has a lot of use. I actually think what's amazing, this has been one of the most interesting takeaways that I found, is that more people are getting interested in data. People who couldn't care less about data are using AI to get into data. And I've seen a lot of people have reached out to me, especially on Twitter or X specifically, not as much LinkedIn, but on X specifically. Um, they'll say, "Hey, I when using AI to analyze data, but I ran into this issue." And the issue is usually something very common in the data analyst world, but people outside of data have never encountered it before. And they try to use AI to solve what AI is messing up, and it doesn't do a good job. And so they're like, I'm trying to get this to happen with my data so that I can look at it this way because I just launched this new app or yada, yada, yada. And I don't need these basic metrics that are in Google Analytics. I need this metric because this is actually what runs my business and I just can't figure out how to do it. And so I'll give them some basic advice, but I'm like, hey, listen, I have a consulting business. You can hire me to be your consultant for your business if you'd like, but I can't, solve all your problems. So it's been really interesting seeing all the people who've never been in data before now getting into data. And so what's going to happen is this is what's going to happen on the large scale, in my opinion. On the large scale, more and more and more and more and more people and companies who've never used data before are going to try to use data. and they're going to use AI. I have no doubt about it. They want to. It's, probably going to be the cheaper option to start with. But it's eventually going to hit a spot where AI can't do it, or they can't manage AI doing it all. And so they need someone to hire someone in. And they probably never had someone do that before. They're just a small company, but now they see the use of it. They just can't figure it out themselves, or they don't have the time or the energy to spend doing it. And AI isn't just going to magically automate everything for you and it's all going to be perfect and rosy and great. These things are complex. Data is not easy. And so I predict in the next 5 to 10 years a large influx of data professionals. I think we'll actually see a lot more people getting hired in data. Right now, in my opinion, the slowdown in hiring is mostly due to economic reasons. Interest rates are really high. Um, there's a lot of fear and uncertainty in the markets, which is making companies not want to invest. So if those factors change, we'll see a lot more hiring. I think this is a lot more economic than it is AI related. How do you decide? This is DLS Fury. This is a great question. How do you decide what technology to use for a project? This, in my opinion, purely comes from experience. You can't really know if you don't have experience. I'll give you an example. I work as a consultant. I have a consulting business, Alex Analytics, where people reach out to me. I get every single day people reach out to me from companies, large companies, small companies, startups, single person teams, and they ask me very similar questions. They ask me questions just like this. Hey, I just started doing this and I need to be able to, I want to know how to store the data and then also use it for reporting, but we're going to have a stream of data. First, we're going to keep the log data for this. And then we're going to keep our client data for this. And then we're going to track interactions. How do I store this data effectively? This question is not, it's so much broader than just data analysis. It goes all the way down the spectrum. And so this comes with experience because sometimes I'll get in there and they're using something like Snowflake, but they only have a certain amount of data. They aren't storing it for certain time periods. They don't need direct access to it to query off of often, but they're storing it in an incorrect way. But maybe Snowflake is good. Or maybe they just need to use something like PostgreSQL and use some cheap CRM that uses PostgreSQL, and it'd be a hundredth of the cost. And so there's so many factors, but what you need to do is you need to test out a lot of these systems that you want to know what to use. For example, back when I was at my old job, I had a huge budget given to me. I became a manager. I got it was about a $2.5 million budget. $1 million were for $1.5 million was for my team, so for hiring and all that stuff. And then the other million was like software. So that was all of our software costs, all of our contractor cost. Well, no, contractors was the other one. Contractors in the first part of the budget. But then it was all tooling, training, software, all these things. And so when you get that kind of big budget, you have to be really purposeful on how you use it. And so what I went through is my first couple months, I was like, okay, what tools are we using? What tools are really useful that people like and are doing a good job, and which are not? And some of the ones that we weren't even using were costing us like 20 grand a month. It was horrible. It was not good. And so I was like, well, couldn't we just use this? And they're like, yeah, we probably could. So I canceled that contract and I got a contract with this other vendor. And so those things just come with experience. I got in there, I learned things, you learn different tools. I can't really, that's really the best way I would describe it as to how you'd be able to do it. Yuvraj Sharmi said, hi, Alex. Thanks. You're the reason I was able to find what I know, what I should do. I'm so glad to hear that. That's why I created this entire YouTube channel, was to help people kind of have a path. When I first started out 8 years ago, when was this? 2017? 8 years ago. There were almost no channels teaching this stuff or showing you what to do. And so I just kind of figured it out by myself. It was not fun. And so I'm glad that I can help you in that way. That's really great. This is a good question. Let me answer this in just a sec. First, Josh, the data analyst, said landed my first role. Woo! Congratulations. I'm super happy for you, Josh. That is one of the most exciting things. I remember when I landed my first job, I was just like, this is like life changing. And it really is. Now you get to grow with the data analyst and data world as it changes over the next 5, 10 years. It's gonna be great. This question, nevermore. Nevermore. Hello. I want to ask, does data analyst really need to be an expert at public speaking? No, definitely not an expert. I think public speaking is maybe not the right word. Just need to be able to communicate, even with small groups. Public speaking, I imagine, is like groups of like 20 people or more. I've spoken in front of 100 people. I've spoken in front of 2 people. That might be public speaking to some people. But I would just say good communication skills can be developed because I was not good at it when I first started. um, didn't know how to present things. I didn't know what was important to share, what was important to leave out. I learned that just on the job and people giving me feedback and realizing after somebody asked a question, I was like, oh, maybe I didn't need to include this. They were just looking for this. You learn, right? So no, you don't have to be an expert to be a data analyst, but good communication skills is very helpful. Um, Ashwin Jet. Real quick, can I don't maybe I give me a sec. I'll ask the question. I'll answer the question real quick. Hi, Alex from India. This is from Ashwin Jet Sandhu. I'm a fresher and want to get a remote job internationally. Can you give me some tips? I tried applying on LinkedIn. Um, so internationally, I have limited experience, but I'll tell you what I do know. So on my previous team, as well as companies I've consulted with, when they're hiring out of country, they're often doing it through consulting companies. So things like Accenture. That's the one that I used to hire through. We hired in Lithuania, Mexico, in India. And the reason for that is purely budgetary reasons. If we were to hire on those 3 other people that we needed in the US, that would have blown our budget for that quarter, that year, whatever it was. And so what we did was we hired offshore, and that saved us a lot of costs. They were consultants; they weren't full-time hires, so we just paid them a flat rate. Usually, it was a good flat rate. Sometimes like $65 an hour, whereas in the US it would have been like 125 an hour. So it was like half. So look at those consulting companies. You usually need to interview for those companies, but you can get in, and those companies usually will help you consult for international or even US based companies. And we even hired on one person from one of those consulting companies. I was like, hey, would you be interested in a full time job? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. And so we paid him more than the consulting, but we have him on full time. And eventually, over the long term, that saves us cost. And so that's what I would do. That's what I would do. By the way, I'm gonna can someone copy and paste? Well, maybe I need to do it. Let me go down. Yeah, I want everyone to be able to get this. People were asking about how to get jobs, how to, craft your resume. I have a course on Analyst Builder. It does cost money. Just for today, the end of the day, the code expires. Just for today, you can use the code get job for that course. You just have to look it up. It's on Analyst Builder. It's called Landing a Data Job. You go and buy it. You don't have to pay anything. Enter the code. You'll get it for free. I hope that helps people. But I want people who are in here who are investing their time to get something out of this. And so go take that. It's really great. You can build a resume. You can build a portfolio project. You can see how to apply to jobs, how to reach out to recruiters. It's really helpful. Josh, data analyst, said huge amount of issues about data privacy and governance. Yeah, for AI and stuff, companies are already they're figuring out solutions to this, but there are a lot of issues that need to be resolved. And these are only like companies that are using it extensively. We haven't even talked about companies that are using it, on a smaller scale that may not have the understanding yet about data governance and privacy, which is if you're using certain tooling, certain AI systems, that is a liability. And so some companies and certain departments aren't allowed to use AI because, you know, privacy reasons. Arfuz Zaman. Hello, Alex. Sending love from India. Love from the US back, man. Or woman. I don't know usually international names. Sometimes I can't tell. I'm reading through questions. This just takes a little while. I do apologize. Fit boy. Fit boy. I'm guessing he's fit, and he's a boy. Data analytics is really maths heavy. In some industries, it is. In some industries, it's not. Finance tends to be more mathematics and statistics heavy. Things like healthcare tend not to be as healthcare statistics and maths heavy. There's always caveats and rules to this. The team that I worked in was a data science team within healthcare. We actually tended to be more statistics heavy because we worked with a lot of data science teams and nurses, and it was a lot of medical data, which is pretty complex. And so that was a little bit more statistics heavy, but I've worked at other companies and other places and consulted with companies where it's not super statistics heavy. They just want someone who really knows how to work with data well, the fundamentals of data. I'm going to take a drink while I look for more questions. Someone's calling me, but I ain't answering it. It's AI trying to tell me they're coming for my job. What roles in artificial... This is from Zohaib Zishan. What roles in artificial intelligence and data science are most unlikely to be automated with AI? So I have this, I don't remember what video it is. I don't remember, but I did a whole video on the life cycle of data analysis. The life cycle is a cycle, right? It's constant permutations of this cycle. You ingest data, you understand the data, you clean the data, you create automations, you do data quality checks, you create reporting and data visualizations, and then, it's a cycle because issues always pop up. Always. What AI is going to be good at least right now, let's talk right now, and then I'll talk like 5-10 years. But right now, AI is going to be really good at helping with the coding piece. That'll be helping with the data cleaning a little bit, right? It's not going to know the nuances of what you need it to look like in the end, unless you really do a great job explaining it. But the data cleaning process is going to be helpful. The exploratory data analysis process, it should be helpful in that. That's really heavy coding. Let me see if I got a... apparently that was my sister-in-law's mom. I'll have to call her back after this. Whoops. Uh, sorry. I'm not gonna say her name, but sorry, sister-in-law's mom. But calling about something data related was funny enough. Anyways, had to check that. Listen, when family messages you, sometimes you got to check it. Those pieces are likely to be automated in some way. You're still going to need oversight. I promise you, even when you get these AI agents that say they can do all these things, they just aren't human. And so they may not fully understand it, even today, right? They may not fully understand what they're even supposed to be looking for. They're just a system, right? It's like a monitoring system. Sometimes monitoring systems that have been used for like a long time, they mess up and then they cause issues. And people are going to need to be there to fix those issues. I can almost guarantee it. It's almost like a certainty, especially as of today. The things that won't be automated, because that's the real question. The human interactions with clients should not be automated. I don't see a world where a client just messages your company and asks it, the AI gets it for them, because then why are they using your company? Why aren't they just doing it themselves and hiring a data person themselves to help understand the AI and use the AI? That's not probably going to work that way. So human interaction, human connection, uh, uh, conveying and helping your clients understand their data is going to be one of the biggest things, the personal part. Building out dashboards and not just generic dashboards that AI has been building, not AI, even just automated report builders. They've been doing that for 10, 15 years, but they're not always super, super helpful. You have to understand the nuances of the data. And so you are there to be the expert of the data, not just writing the code or whatnot. I think that is the stuff that you are going to be highly unautomatable, if that's a word. W. Barberena. What books or courses can you recommend for aesthetics versus usability? I've been told my reports and dashboards are data dense but not attractive. All right, I'm going to give you if you've taken any of my courses, if you've taken any of my lessons on YouTube, I think you'll know this. I am the same way. I have zero design genes in my body. None. And so I can really understand the data really well. I can convey it well. The visualization looks pretty decent, but it's not going to be aesthetically pleasing. Um, what I used to do is we had templates at my job, and I used those templates a lot. I relied on those for my aesthetics. I don't know. I don't remember what course would be good for aesthetics. Honestly, I don't. But I bet you could find one on like Udemy. Look up like how to design dashboards to look and present well or something like that. I don't know. Moro Husseini. Hi, Alex. I'm in the third course on the Google Data Analytics Professional Certificate Program on Coursera. There are some YouTubers playing down the importance of that Google course. What's your opinion? All right, when it first came out many years ago, we really didn't know much about it. I took it myself because I was interested. A big company is creating Google was creating a data analytics certification. Um, and so it was really exciting. And then when I took it, I thought it was good. I'll just say, like, out of on a scale of 1 to 10, it's like a 5. It's good. It's 5 or 6. It gives you like, if you know nothing about data analytics, it gives you the basic concepts of data. It gives you the basic understanding of how to use things like SQL. I think they go into like Excel or something. I can't remember. It was a long time ago. So it gives you the basics. I think it is decent, but that's for what I would say is like an introductory course to data analytics. It does not go in depth at all. It's mostly like, a thin array of knowledge broadly given. So no, I don't think it's important to know is not a recommendation. I don't really recommend people take it anymore. The reason being is my data analyst bootcamp, which is free on YouTube, has more content, more depth, and you will learn 50 times more than the Google Data Analyst certificate that you'll pay a lot of money for. If you want to pay money, I have a platform called analystbuilder.com that goes beyond my data analyst bootcamp and goes more advanced, has more advanced projects, has practice for SQL, has resume templates. It is like the best platform for data analytics, in my opinion. So I would go there if you're going to spend money. That's just my personal opinion. Yes, that is a shameless plug for myself. But Coursera, their courses are very good. Some of them are very good. I've taken many of them myself. But all the instructors are different. Um, and sometimes you don't know what you're getting. And some of the courses are good, some of them aren't. All of mine are going to be good, high quality courses. Cybersecurity said, "You're too kind, Alex. You're an absolute legend. Man, we're lucky to have you, bud. I appreciate that. I needed to hear that. Thank you." Um, what do you do for a living? Are you a senior data analyst? This is from Bujini Taha. All right, so I was a data analyst. I was actually a data collection specialist and analyst for my very first job back in 2017. I became a data analyst at a small healthcare analytics company where I became kind of a mid-level data analyst. I was there for over a year. Then I got a job at a Fortune 500 company as a data analyst. I worked my way up the ranks. I was like the lead data analyst on my team, but my title didn't reflect it. I had been there for like 3 years. I had asked my boss for a promotion. I wanted to be a senior data analyst. And then I also was like, or a lead data analyst, because that's what I was doing on my team. But then I was like, there were other jobs within my company that I thought looked really interesting. And so I asked her, hey, would you mind if I apply to these jobs? She's like, of course, thanks for letting me know. Then I got a job as a manager of data analytics in our IT department. So in our IT, that's like a bunch of different departments, but I was the manager of analytics in that. And so I have a management background in data analytics. And then I quit my job back in 2022 to do consulting and YouTube full time. So I still do consulting. I have consulting clients on retainer that I consult with. I just did a bunch of work for one the other day, and that's what I do. And then of course I have analystbuilder.com, which is my like edtech platform, which is courses and all these things. But I have a whole team that helps me with that. But I create all the content. So all the courses are my courses, except for a few, which Benjamin Ragosian, you may know him as Seattle Data Guy. He's coming on to make some courses. He already created one called Data Basic Fundamentals of Data Pipelines. So, but yeah, that's what I do. That is what I do. And so I've consulted with big companies that I can name, like Microsoft, or small companies that I can't name due to client NDAs and stuff, whatnot, that are like tech startups in Silicon Valley. I do a lot of Silicon Valley work. Is probably what I do most in consulting, or small stuff. Bigger companies don't work with them as much. Let's see. I agree, Taki. Tyrone. I I I answered your question. I didn't know. I didn't know. I'm sorry. I'm just catching up. Let's see. What laptop would you suggest? I've been getting this question so much lately. I have a whole video, by the way, a whole video on what laptops you should choose. In the end, it's actually not crazy. You don't need anything crazy or expensive. What you need probably 256 gigabytes of memory or storage. Not memory, storage, and then 16 gigabytes of RAM. That's what I recommend. Almost any computer is good. I recommend some type of PC, Microsoft. That's just what I use, what I'm really good with. If you have more money, you could go with something like, oh gosh, how am I blanking on this? I have one right here. A MacBook Pro, right? If you have more money, but you don't need it. And so there you go. Let me see if someone's. Oh, let's see. Oh my, I hate it when it does this. It doesn't load the questions and it loads them all at once. And then, yeah, it's not good. Yusuf Ahmed. Hey Alex, when is the free month gonna end? So you're referencing in the description below, you can get a free month of Analyst Builder. You can take 2, 3, 4 courses in that time if you go really fast for free. I will be doing that. That is gonna stop. You can only redeem that today. It ends tomorrow. I didn't even know. I forgot to mention that. You can get a free month of Analyst Builder, completely free. Take courses, do the questions, whatever you want, for free. And you can do that down below in the description. Just go and read it. That is only for new users. Our system with Stripe doesn't allow people who already have bought something and created an account. It doesn't allow them to redeem it. You can try it. It hasn't been working. We've tried to do it. But it ends today. It was only going through my July live stream, so um, I'll have to announce that somewhere. But I'll do more of those in the future. But I've just been doing it for my live stream. So all my live stream people, you guys know about it, but people off my live stream, they don't know about it. Josh, data analyst. Domain knowledge is the downfall of AI systems in the moment. It's good at working with data, but doesn't understand how it relates to area you work in. That's true. So I have very in-depth knowledge of healthcare analytics. That is my specialty. That was my background in college. That was my background with experience. That's my specialty. So I'll go in and I'll ask ChatGPT, the latest model. I'll ask it questions because I was working on something. I'll ask it questions and it's giving me things that I know are not true. Like I just know it. I know it's a fact because I worked with it for years. I'm like, tell me about the MIPS program. Tell me how people do their data, how they submit their data, how they collect their data. It got it like 30% right, maybe 40% on a good day. It was not good. And so if I was a client who was submitting my MIPS data, I would be absolutely ruined. You would lose millions of dollars because the clients that we work with MIPS were large uh, groups of hospitals that would submit their data for millions of dollars in data from the MIPS. And if they followed AI, they would be bankrupt. 100%. So it's going to get better, but you're right. Understanding your niche really well and um, and really being able to like talk to clients about it, talk confidently about it, understand it really in depth is going to be a great thing to know how to do. Great skill. Great skill. Let me see. All right. Everybody's asking about a ton of AI stuff. Here's what I'll say about AI. AI is really good at a lot of stuff. It is. But I have been using AI enough and I've been a data professional enough to know it has a lot of downfalls. And what I've seen time and time and time again in the real world is that people who jump straight to AI and do not understand the basics of working in Excel, right? Understanding file types, understanding data types, understanding how data is stored in SQL databases. Even these simple concepts that you need to know, like 100%, you need to know them. People who don't have that foundational knowledge really struggle with using data because it's going to spit out some XML file because it's trying to optimize for the data. Then that person doesn't know how to read in the thing. They try to use AI to help read in that XML file, but it's stored weird. So then they convert it to a JSON, and then the JSON is in this weird nested format that they can't understand. They can't get it into a flat table to be able to use it for XYZ. And it's like these basic things that I have a lot of experience in. It's so simple because I'm doing it for so long. People who haven't done it really struggle in it. They really do. Give me a second. My friend Roger just he's from my softball team. He just messaged me saying he doesn't know what I'm saying, but keep it up. Thanks, Roger. Hey, I'm glad you're watching. Thanks. I'll see you next season. If I don't see you sooner. Spring's right around the corner. I can't wait. I had a blast. But yeah, that was Roger. He was our pitcher for our softball team. Good pitcher too. A good pitcher. Don't quote me on that though. I didn't say that. All right, let's keep going. Um, this is a good point. Um, cybersecurity. Now, whenever I go on LinkedIn, every Power BI dashboard is aesthetically pleasing overboard. I agree. I actually made a video on this. Um, some of these dashboards are aesthetically pleasing and are garbage. And they serve no purpose. And people will make them and put them on their resumes. And when I see it, I'm just like, this is just like, it's overboard. You don't need to do this. It isn't useful. Has like background pictures and, you know, all these colors. And I'm like, this is insane. It's not neat. Nobody in the real world in a real job does that. What about the IBM course, Chessmaster, IBM course? The IBM courses are good. I took those many years ago. I don't know. I don't remember them well enough to know what the content especially was, but I know one of the IBM courses was on Python, which was good. The other one was in like some IBM tool, I can't remember, but it was good. Their courses are actually quite good. All right, let me get a sip of water. I think so. This is a good question, Will. Will said, in 2025, which skill do you believe is most likely to be replaced by AI? Theoretically, of course. Business intelligence like Tableau or SQL. All right. I actually think, in my opinion, that coding 100% by yourself isn't really needed anymore, right? AI systems are good at helping with a lot of stuff. So SQL is something that you still need to know. I 100% believe that. The basics of SQL, any AI system can do it well. So I don't think SQL at an advanced level is going to be replaced. Because again, the nuances of your data and it messes up and you have to be able to debug it and you create this long stored procedure and you don't know what happens, but then your system breaks and you try to get it to debug it and it's like, I don't see the error. Let's try this, let's try this, let's try this. It's not working. None of it's working. You have to be the expert and get in there and know how to do it. So SQL is not being replaced by AI. You still need to know it. I actually do think, and this is my opinion, maybe in like 5 years, is that a lot of the tools for building visualizations will be mostly automated. Not all, but mostly. In the same way, it's like SQL, right? AI, you're going to say, hey, I want visualizations that show this data this way. And it's going to be able to do that. But there's so many other nuances to it. Again, it'll get you like 90% of the way there, but it's not going to do it perfectly. I got a donation. I'm going to read it. Tech VK, thank you for donation. You don't have to donate. I try to get to everybody's questions. It says, hey, brother, if I start Python series in your playlist, is it good for becoming a data analyst? Yes, it absolutely is. In fact, I think my Python series on YouTube is one of the better ones for becoming a data analyst. Take my Python for Beginners series, um, build the projects. Give me one sec. When I talk a lot, I burp. Build the projects, and then take my Pandas course, or not course, my Pandas series on YouTube. There's projects with it. It's free. Python and then Pandas. Uh, take those two playlists. Those are fantastic. If you know those, if you take those lessons, you can definitely put them on your resume. If you want to dive even deeper, of course, I have my full courses, but honestly, you don't have to if you don't want to. Let me see. Let me see. I'm reading through questions. There's a lot. I'm really far behind. I do apologize. Josh asks, am I still strumming my guitar? So I said I would do this in the last live stream of the month. We have four. Oh, geez. Oh, gosh. We're at 9:56. I said I was going to stop right at 10. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be doing another live stream starting next week. I'll do another live stream. I'll answer more questions. I told people last live stream I would play something really quick. I got this mic going so you can at least hear it. I'm not going to play a lot. I'm just going to play some stuff. Just that I think sounds good. And then I'm going to be doing a giveaway for free courses on Analyst Builder. Analystbuilder.com is my learning platform. I create it with my team. All of the courses are mine. You can practice SQL and Python and R. And it's just one of the best platforms for data analysts in the world. I genuinely believe that. So try it out. You can get a free month free down below. And that's just a thank you to you. You guys can take like 2 or 3 courses for free in a month if you really have the time. But I'll give away some just free courses that you'll get to keep for life in just a little bit. But this is my guitar. This was given to me by my father-in-law. It is a really nice Martin, one of his old guitars. He was a guitar collector. He used to have like 30 of them, but gave this to me. I don't even know if you can see this in the screen. You can kind of see it, but it's really nice. Really, really nice. And I love it. I play it all the time. It's way better than my last guitar. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear this, so I'm just going to play it. And if you can hear it, great. And if you can't, if you can't, that's okay. But I'll play something sad. Let me see. This is kind of like a that's like like what's that song? I can't remember what it is. And then there's like that's like the finger picking stuff. I love that sound. That's like my kind of sound. But then there's like stuff like that. I don't know. I that's just me messing around. But I do love playing guitar. I do love playing guitar. And I sing a lot. I have a video. I wrote a song for data. It's like uh truth about my job. Look that up. Truth about my job data song. Alex the Analyst. You'll find it. I wrote a song. I made it. It's pretty good. It's not bad. That sounded pretty good. All right, guys. I'm gonna be doing a giveaway now. Um, this giveaway is just for you guys. It is. All you have to have is an Analyst Builder account. That's it. So here's what you do. I'm gonna pull it. I can't pull it up on my screen because I have sensitive stuff on my screen. I don't want to expose anything for clients or me or whatever. So I'm just not gonna show you my screen. But go to analystbuilder.com. Go to pricing. Go to courses. These are all my courses. The only one I didn't create is the Foundations of Data Pipelines. That's one by Ben Rogojin. He's going to be bringing some SQL for data engineering course by the end of this year. But click on a course you want to buy. You don't have to buy it. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I just have to give you a code. So let's say you want to take the MySQL for Data Analytics course. You click buy. Well, says I already have it bought. But you click buy. It takes you to a checkout screen. There's an add promotion code. You're going to click on that. What you have to do is add the promotion code. It'll go to 0 and you click pay. I don't want you to buy this. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I promise I'm trying to give things away to you guys. I really am. So then you pay. The only trick here is other people are going to be competing for this code. So I'm going to give you a code. Only one person can redeem it. So you just have to be the first one. That is how this works. I don't make the rules. All right. I'm just here. I'm just here. Just here. All right. I got to finish up because I know I got to help my wife with something really quick. All right. I'm creating the code right now. This is for one person to redeem, and then I'll do 2 codes for 2 people. So 5 total codes, 5 total courses I'll be giving away. So I just created this code. The code is GitHub is life. All one word, all capitalized. GitHub is life. If you redeem that, where am I? Here I am. If you redeem that, then you'll get it for free. And if you did redeem it, let me know what course you got. All right, I'm going to create the next code. I'm going to do 2 more codes. I'm going to make it something random. Nobody's going to be able to guess this one. All right. In honor of someone who just got their first data job, it's his name. I talked about it earlier in the stream. If you were there and you said, "Oh, that person got a job," it's the first part of his name. I just created it. Oh, wait, that was supposed to be 2. That's going to be 1. Only one person can redeem that one. Somebody got the other one, by the way. Someone got it. It's Josh. You're probably not going to be the first person. Someone already got it, but the code was Josh. All right, I'm doing 1 more code, but 3 people can redeem this. 3. Find the course that you want. You can redeem this for free. Jimmy says he got it. If you got it and you got it checked out and it shows under your purchases that you have it in your account, that means you got it. Let me know what course you got. This next one is something I care deeply about, and it's something I feel for each and every one of you. And so I've just added this. 3 people can redeem this. It's friendship. And I care about my friendship with you. I do very much. Friendship is the last code. Friendship is the last code. And I hope you were able to get it. If you didn't, next week, I'll give away more. I'm not stopping. I'll give away more next week. Next Thursday. 9 a.m. Actually, 9 a.m. my time. Could be 9, not 9 a.m. your time. But that is a completely free course just for you. Go try it out. If, let me see. Yep, people got it. People got it. I hope that helps. Glitchmaster said, just finished a data analyst interview. I hope it went amazing. I hope you get the job. I hope you nailed it. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, guys. I have got to get out of here. That's my live stream for July 31st. Next week will be our first August live stream, and we'll be doing the same thing. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this live stream. If you did, subscribe, I guess. Could subscribe, like this video. I don't know. You don't have to do anything. I would just leave if I were you. But if you liked it, let me know. I appreciate it. All right, guys. I will see you guys next week. And